Welcome in. Thank you everybody for joining us. Today we are unlocking veterinary revenue. So we're introducing Wedgewood's 503B partnership with Atrium24. I'm Nicolette Matthey, pharmacist and owner of Atrium24.
I'm Annie. I'm also a pharmacist and the clinical director here at Atrium.
Yes. And I'll be clicking the buttons on the webinar. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or put them in the Q&A. We do have some time reserved at the end once we get through all the content pieces so that we can go over the questions. And then without further ado, I would like to welcome Liz and AJ, and I can't wait to have you guys walk us through the Wedgewood operation.
Thank you so much. Such a warm welcome. AJ, are you okay if I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Liz Moore. I am the VP of Corporate here at Wedgewood Pharmacy. Recently joined the team. And I think it's important to highlight why I chose Wedgewood. I wanted to be here. I'm here because I know GMP, FDA, and the need for specialty pharmacy. I know how hard it can be when medications aren't available to practitioners. And it's really exciting to me to be a part of the solution to better support the patient care and the access to the medications they truly need. As a millennial pet parent myself, we are looking for more of a boutique experience. And I think you're going to find this across the industry with both millennials and Gen Z pet parents. They're looking for treatment and medications like compounding that can be more patient specific, and they have really high expectations for the care. So they do have that boutique expectation out of it. So that's me. That's why I'm here. But AJ is going to drive today. I'm going to hand it over to him. I'm here as support, but he is absolutely incredible, and you are in wonderful hands with him. So AJ.
Great. Thanks, Liz. And we're really excited to have Liz join our team and support a lot of our corporate initiatives and GPO partnerships. My name is AJ Delarenzi. I've been in animal compounding for the last 14 years, originally with Diamondback Drugs, and then due to acquisitions and mergers and private equity and all the fun stuff, ended up at Wedgewood. I know a few of you that I'm seeing some familiar faces, so it's good to see some people that I've known for a long time too. But today we're really going to dive into some of the unique offerings that we have now at our 503B Wedgewood Connect, and how we can better support you and the veterinarians that are within your area. So as we all know, we with a 503B technically don't have a pharmacist in charge, but Paul Yamamoto, maybe a few of you recognize him from his previous role at Lighters, also overseeing the same facility that Wedgewood Connect now has in San Jose. Paul's an outstanding VP and our president of pharmacy and at Connect, and he has a BS from the University of Washington, and really well established both with APC as well as ASHP, and really active in the overall network throughout compounding, and has been in compounding and 503B, 503A for the last 21 years. Yay, Paul. So really, when we're thinking about where we are today, Wedgewood started in 1980s. We had a few medications that went on back order that were mainly for the equine market, and we really saw this unique opportunity to support animals and support care in a way that we hadn't really done before. So in 2007, we really started switching gears a little bit and focused on small animal, and came out with some really innovative dosage forms. We were the first to create a tiny tab and a Gormand for an animal. Tiny tabs are just the normal, like really small tablets that you can get with some of your Stokes presses, but we also did some transdermals at that time as well. We were the first 503A to be PCAB accredited, and the first veterinary pharmacy in that space. So that's something we're really excited for. And then in 2018, we merged with Diamondback Drugs to have a more robust team, as well as a lot of different preparations. So at that point, the amount of preparations that we had were 40,000 different SKUs. And in 2020, we launched Wedgewood Connect after the purchase from the Lighters facility out in San Jose. And we also acquired Wildlife Pharmaceuticals and Zopharm. So Wildlife has a few unique dosage forms that have a polymer base that allow for an extended release or time released medication. And most of those are used in BAM kits, which are immobilization agents that can be used for transport for large mammals and a lot of wildlife. So if you ever go to the zoo and you overhear someone say, "Oh, the lion's just sleeping," he's probably not. He's probably on an arranged date and getting shipped throughout the U.S. because there's the species survival program, and it creates genetic diversity through all of the exotic animals and that we have in captivity. So Wildlife Pharmaceuticals has done an awesome job supporting that, as well as anytime there's a one-off treatment or implant that's needed for large animals, they do a great job there. So in 2022, we really started efforts with kind of at a grassroots level, but then really brought it throughout the animal health industry for GFI. And GFI 256 outlines what medications can be used for office use. And really it became a pretty restrictive for the veterinarians to practice medicine and have the same standards of care that they'd had in the past. So at that time, we submitted over 200 nominations of drug classifications, and we're able to get a lot either listed or if the medication's under review, the veterinarians can still rewrite for office use. We're also an AHA, which is one of the standard associations for animal health, preferred business partner. And we do own our own testing facility, Front Page Laboratories. And then last year or 2 years ago, we merged with Blue Rabbit and Brava to increase both our equine footprint as well as an advanced technology platform. So over those last 40 years, anybody heard of us? Maybe one.
I think everyone has. That's a lot of information, and there's so much to it. Like you mentioned, like all the different preparations and yeah, just the footprint that you guys have and the acquisitions. So it's really exciting now that we have a partnership with our 503A pharmacies to be able to tap into your guys' network and expertise. So that's a lot. You guys have been busy.
We're just fighting the good fight for the vets. But actually, Nicolette, this is like one of my favorite slides too, because so this is a survey that we did 2 years ago, and all of these were, it was basically, they would choose all 4 of these if they were aware of them. And local pharmacies actually got a great amount of traction, even in our own survey. So we knew the need for, when it comes to immediate results and basically time to first fill or time to treatment, we know that a lot of veterinarians are still relying on local pharmacies. So this is a really unique opportunity for us to both partner and give some other pharmacies our 503B products and potentially increase some capacity on their end, or give them the option of utilizing some sterile. So we are in about 90% of the veterinarian offices in the US. We really do have a strong market share, as was mentioned, and as I'm sure a lot of you have noted, but really there's growth throughout this industry. When we think about what on a day-to-day basis, how many veterinarians use us, we're really just a part of probably like 4 to 5% of what they do on a day-to-day. And we do see that things are really evolving now towards a more patient-specific field because of GFI 256, but also because of the reason that Liz touched base on is everyone really wants that boutique experience when they're dealing with their dog or cat. A couple of my best friends are veterinarians, and one of my buddies, his hardest thing about being a second generation vet is his dad refuses to talk about diets. And he's like, "Dad, they all want to know like what sort of diet you want to recommend." And he's like, the dog eats it, it's fine. And they really want that unique, like, oh yeah, well, I really think he should, you know, have a higher protein or use a different carbohydrate. But all of the pet parents really are looking for that. And I know I'm pretty much a sucker for marketing, so and science. So anytime somebody wants to explain more to me, that's the kind of treatment that I appreciate, and that's the kind of buy-in that I want to get from the people that I support and the businesses that I turn to.
True, that makes a lot of sense. You think about the shift of humans looking into preventative care and wellness, and they want to do the same for their pets.
Yeah.
So, very interesting.
So a few of the other dosage forms that we've kind of come out with throughout the years, we have a peloxygel, which will react to the heat in the animal's ear. So it's basically a liquid when they use it. And then when they put it in the ear, it holds. So it's for like ear packs when they need like a long-acting antibiotic. The BAM kits are down there in 2020. But really, when it comes to our core business, it is ophthalmics and then tablets. So our tiny tabs have been around for a very long time, since December of 2007. They have a lot of traction, and really when the pet parents as well as the technicians, the hardest thing is to pill a cat. And by having a very small pill, it really increases the likelihood of compliance when the patients go home. Because if your pet parent can't treat or is creating an anxious situation for either them or the pet, it really turns into a difficult time. So it's nice to have a lot of options, but even for cats, the tiny tabs do a great job. In animal health, there's a new wave of thinking, and it's basically a fear-free experience. So you can very easily check if your local veterinarians are having fear-free experiences by the certification that they have on their website. And that fear-free experience is basically around two protocols. It's the bad dog protocol, which is gabapentin and trazodone to kind of calm the dogs down before they get in, or the chill protocol. And chill protocol is generally gabapentin and melatonin. And the gabapentin that we have is specifically targeted for cats because of its size. And it pretty much goes along with any veterinarian's chill protocol. And what they do is the night before, they'll receive a dosing, and then 90 minutes prior to the appointment, they'll receive a dosing. And really, it creates an opportunity for the cats to be relaxed. Most of these fear-free practices actually have like a cat door and a dog door. There's specific science behind it because cats don't want to be in the same room as a dog, and my dog doesn't want to be in the same room as a bird, as we've come to notice. So it's, you know, a really unique opportunity for each of you as a local pharmacist to be able to support that chill protocol.
We should have a chill protocol at work.
Yeah.
We have a bad dog. Yeah, we have a bad dog protocol in the house.
I can confidently say it's a game changer as a client. That's how I'm a big cat gal, and that's how I have to bring mine to the vet. So it's huge, and it changes the experience for the pet and the pet parent, which is incredible to make sure they continue to go to the vet.
And honestly, most cats, like owners now, veterinarians are asking, like when they bring a dog in, do you have a cat at home? Because it's one bad time with your cat, and then they like won't bring them back. They'll be like, oh, can you write me a script also for my cat? And so it's a great way to create compliance and also making sure that that quality of care is there. So this is our footprint, and our green are our small animal pharmacies, blue our equine, our 503Bs are in San Jose, and then we also have a new facility that's being built out in Albany. We did our first commercial product this year in February, and really the balance between both is to make sure that we have capacity, as well as we're able to ship in time so that we can really get the medications both to the local pharmacies that we're supporting, as well as the veterinarian offices. Front Range Laboratory is our chemistry lab in Colorado. And then when you're looking at this map, you may get like, oh, I'm right down the street from the Arizona small animal pharmacy. I probably won't, utilize your services too much. When you're thinking of like general compounding for us right now, we're at almost a 4-day lag time. So if you're local to any one of our pharmacies, honestly, you can get it to the veterinarian or the pet parent quicker than we can. And that's just a fact. It's, part of the deal that comes with a scale in a business like this size is we really, when it comes to GC, like general compounding, our lab is very, very tight. So it's hard for us to really be very reactive. So some of the top preps that we have, obviously we do have, like cisapride and like different ophthalmics, like throughout, like we've got desmopressin listed here. Do have predacetate, but these are our top selling preparations. So metronidazole, we have in both a tiny tab as well as a quad tab. That is the quad tab right there, Nicolette, with your cursor. And if you guys haven't seen that press or that tablet, it's awesome. It's scored, but it's also chamfered in the middle. So it does create very, very precise breaks. And then the ones on the right are the Gormands, and those are generally for equine, and they're actually like this big. they're big wafers, but generally, like when it comes to our tiny tabs, they're about the size of a Tic Tac, and that tiny tab is the blue and the green next to it. And you can kind of see the chamfer in the quad tab on the one that's laying flat. It's got a really cool scored both top to bottom. Doxycycline's available as a quad tab. We do have apomorphine, desmopressin, but I would say our top preps for the BDA currently are gabapentin, tacrolimus, and cyclosporin. So when we're thinking about our commitment to you, it's really to give you an opportunity to improve your capacity and the ability to service this market. We will have excellent speed delivery on your end. The 503B preps, almost 90% do ship same day. And then really offering a broadened product and service offering for both your current clients as well as potentially new clients in the area. These are some awards and accolades. Obviously, we are still PCAB accredited, the American College or American Animal Hospital Association, and we were also the VETI Award winner, which is BMX in NAVC is the big veterinary conference that we have in Orlando yearly. And that was for our booth and our team's effort.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all that really great information about Wedgewood. I know, we've been looking into it and so interested in it for a while. So we're so excited about this partnership. And then, so just on the pharmacy side, we kind of want to give them an idea of how this works. A lot of pharmacies probably on this call have ordered 503B now, which is such a great point, how you were saying, even if they wanted to order, through one of your 503As, it might take 4 days. It's such a great opportunity now for our pharmacies to order like they would from a wholesaler, have it on their shelf, and then dispense it pet specific. So we'll start with the registration. We'll just start at the very beginning of how do they get started with connecting with Wedgewood. And that's going to be on our Atrium24 GPO page. So that's where we have all of our partners right now, but there's a really easy place to click that you can register. It just has you put in some information like your pharmacy name, your pharmacy license, things like that. And then we do have a negotiated discount as well through the Atrium24 GPO. So we have that with all of our GPO partners, which is awesome. It's almost turning into like a marketplace where you can go and see what you need and who you need to get it from. So it's really cool. So you will be offered those discounts for all memberships. We'll have different discounts. And then Wedgewood also offers volume discounts. I don't know if AJ wants to speak to that a little bit. But as you go up in the purchase volume per order, the price does go down, which is nice. And then AJ, if you want to kind of go over the ordering process for everybody, how it works for pharmacies, that would be great. And just a little bit about, I think you mentioned they normally ship out same day, but if you want to talk a little bit about that turnaround time as well.
Yeah, you bet. So we do have tiered pricing that's in effect. So once you start ramping up or you have refills, the amount and the quantities will be discounted at a rate additional to your GPO discount. And really it comes down to even, when you're doing, we have like 100 count bottles for gabapentin. A lot of the pharmacies do count and pour. And so even on a single like gabapentin unit, you probably will have some pretty significant upside when it comes to where the pricing is, even on a single unit. Our ordering process currently is all via email. So we have a dedicated account manager. Once they fill out your GPO ordering page through Atrium, we'll have all of your information to create an account for you. And then we'll back end let you know that everything's squared away and then put you in touch with the account management team. We do ship pretty much everything same day. And we generally do use FedEx. When it comes to the labeling of 503B products, if you're not familiar with it, we can always go over that as part of the onboarding process. But ideally and truly, there's a primary label. So when you're thinking about an eyedropper bottle, the primary label is the one that's on the bottle. That you can put your label below it as long as it's not covering any of the label. But we do have a secondary packaging, and in that secondary packaging, it's like another plastic bag around the dropper bottle, and you can put your label and the patient label on that. You can cover the secondary label, but the primary label does need to stay intact. Our turnaround time is if you order from us tomorrow, because of the holiday, it'll get there probably on Monday, but generally we're 1 to 2 days turnaround time. And the orders are processed the day that they come in.
That is wonderful. So and I know Tiffany was working hard on our digital side to get Wedgewood onto our GPO page. So it's there if you're a Dotti member and you click into the GPO, like Annie mentioned, from the Dotti dashboard, either on the banner or in the bulletin board, and you're in the GPO and you click register on Wedgewood. When they complete that information, it goes to us first for us to verify that you're a member, and we verify your membership tier, because Plus and the Pro members get a deeper discount on products. But once we click it off on our side, it goes over to AJ and their team on that side. Do you know how long it typically takes to, because the pharmacy attaches their license to, so you just have to verify that they're a licensed pharmacy and get them set up in your system. Do you know how long you anticipate that to take?
It should be anywhere between a week, but we do in 2 weeks, but we do have a new contract program that's going into place, Juro. So once Juro's in place, we expect the turnaround time to be same day. So that we'll get you out like a master sales agreement that notes that you're an Atrium24 GPO member, that all of the pricing that goes in and discounts. But if you do have any changes to your membership as you're ordering, just let us know, and we can handle that on the back end too.
Okay, that's good, because I just know linearly, our members will jump into Dotti and click the GPO page and fill out that registration form itself. That form's pretty simple because it's just like your guys' basic information. But then they'll be like, okay, now what? Now when do I get when do I get to order the catalog and all that? And we can go ahead and show them what you've loaded so far in Dotti as far as resources. And then Leah just asked a good question. She said, what is the shipping cost, and is there a minimum order? There's
no minimum order. Generally, the shipping is $15, but we'll see, like, as the orders start coming in too, we may be able to do some additional shipping discounts. One of the things that we really work on for our Dotti pharmacies, especially, is like that messaging to prescribers. So 503B as well is
somewhat new to some pharmacies, especially our more traditional pharmacies that are buying just from like primary wholesalers and things like that. So they may have ventured into 503B, like you mentioned with the GLPs or something like that, but it truly is a good pipeline for pharmacies through that 503B to 503A process. So the benefits of offering 503Bs, I mean, it's only gotten more and more clear as time's gone by. Because when it was first published back in like the summer of 2023, I guess that was 2 years ago now, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was like, it was last year. No, now it's
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we really have come a long way in 503B. And so this makes a lot of sense. And like AJ, like you mentioned too, you know, Wedgewood has a really long history, and you sell to hospitals and you sell to veterinary clinics and zoos and things like that. And now it's just becoming more and more mainstream for these 503B facilities to sell to 503A community pharmacies.
So I think it's
Absolutely
important to mention there's so many different options. If you are just strictly a retail pharmacy, they might be thinking, well, I can't offer compounds, but you can. So even if you don't do any compounding, you're not a compounding pharmacy, you can still offer these compounded 503B products.
Right.
So that gives you a whole new line of revenue that you didn't have before. Where before you could go to vets, sure, we're here, we can fill like the things that we have that are for humans,
Right.
but they're looking for, if they're going to partner with someone, generally more options. So now those pharmacies can offer it. And then also pharmacies who compound themselves typically aren't doing sterile formulations for veterinary. So you can add those on if you're already doing your own pill, like, oh, I make my own gabapentin for cats. Well, now I bet your vet's looking for cyclosporin eye drops, you know? So it makes you that much more appealing to the vet's office to be able to have, you know, a bigger catalog of things you can offer. So they're not having to go to one place and then another. They might want to partner with a local pharmacy, but you couldn't give them everything they needed. And now you can. So it's really cool. And then also, as Nicolette was saying, so many people know about Wedgewood now, and you know, you can really go out there with the points of, you know, the CGMP compliance for veterinarians that are more familiar with regulations. You know, if they don't really know about that, you can just let them know the testing that goes into it and really the high quality product that you're able to ensure by offering these 503B products. And even in terms of compounding in-house, sometimes that can take time, you know, your compounder's backed up, whatever it is. Now, you know, if it's something you've gotten into the routine of selling with this prescriber, you know, they can know like, oh, you can go to this pharmacy and get this same day. So it's really a great opportunity for so many different business models.
Yeah, it definitely is. And with compounding, a lot of it is about scale and efficiency. So even the sterile compounding pharmacies we have, they're not going to have a catalog as big as Wedgewood's catalog. And so if they're going to start marketing products out to their local prescribers or things like this, they're going to need to build up that book of business before they even start to make that business decision of, is this something I want to bring in-house, or does this continue to make sense to outsource it to a 503B partner? And it becomes a math equation at that point, but it just makes so much more sense if you're able to form a good partnership with a 503B to build the business, to get into the market, to do all these things. And so especially 503Bs, the rigorous testing, they're FDA regulated and inspected. So it's always good that we're able to have 503Bs. And it's been 2 years and we're only digging in. So that's exciting.
It's only just getting started. And it's so cool too, because when it comes to veterinary practices, they are like everything. They're their own lab, they're their own pharmacy, they're their own you know, surgery center. But when it comes to veterinary pharmacy, there's been a huge flip and really a big drive towards diagnostics rather than recouping revenue through pharmacy. And it's almost the exact flip that started when I first started in animal health. When it used to be boarding was 20 to 30% of their revenue streams. And over the last 5 to 10 years, pharmacy went from 20% to like 5% of their revenue stream. Now they're driving a lot more diagnostic to uncover some of these new disease states. and really make sure that the clients are getting the treatment and in line with their expectations. So when it comes to them having all of our product on the shelf and inventorying it, it almost is more of a nuisance than it was a revenue stream in the past. So by having this on your shelves, you really give both the pharmacy or the veterinarian that you're supporting, but also your pharmacy the revenue. But they will be very thankful that they're able to have that treatment, and that first treatment start so quickly.
That's a great point. And I agree, pharmacy is a nuisance. All pharmacists will say, yeah, it's absolutely. So I know exactly what you mean, because it's like veterinary, they do all the things. And I haven't thought of it in that frame before, but that's true. They're doing all the diagnostics, all the surgeries, just everything you can imagine. And for them to have to stock all the inventory of the medications and worry about beyond use date, and then especially with GFI 256, with them not being able to store bulk compounded medications in office anymore, it has to be patient specific. And so that's just added additional layers of complexity. So I know that as a pharmacist, that's kind of one of my first like objections or fears that jumps out, is like, well, I don't know about keeping veterinary medicine here because I'm stepping on the vet's toes, because that's a revenue stream for them, or they're already prescribing these meds. And that's kind of the way perhaps it used to be a bit more. But would you say that they're more open to partnering with local pharmacies now?
Absolutely. I feel like just the Amazon of things. It used to be the Internet of Things, but it's how fast can my customer get it? How fast can that client have their first dosage? That's the thing that really drives where they're going to choose to go. The Chewies of the world have awesome customer service. They are really good once things are on auto ship, but auto ship doesn't account for that first fill. And the first fill and the refills that you guys get to follow are really creating a unique opportunity for the veterinarians to make sure that they're partnering with good partners, but you can use our brand recognition to really build your business outside of just the veterinary side. Compounding and pharmacy is completely changing because of the way all the dynamics with reimbursement, but there will 100% always be a place for small pharmacy in animal care. It's just the way it is. I am a third generation farmer. We were in dairy growing up. My grandfather, to his dying day, was just blown away that we sold oncology treatments to dogs. He's like, what is that? I don't get it. And he was the same, he's the sweetest, most loving person, but when it comes to that human animal bond, he just never understood it. He had the exact same dog. He always got Weimaramers. He would name it Blue, and then as he was aging, name it Old Blue. And all of the Old Blues probably had the same plot underneath the big oak tree, but 6-7 Blues, all Weimaramers. And so our generation and the generations to follow are really plugging into that human animal bond. And as a person that's in compounding, I'm excited by it. But I really do think it's a unique opportunity for independent pharmacies to support the needs.
Absolutely. If folks on the call are not familiar with GFI 256, can you give just kind of an overview about it and what it means to us?
Yeah, absolutely. So GFI, Guidance for Industry 256, is around an FDA ruling on which medications are available for office use for veterinarians. Basically, prior to this, Nicolette and we're both in Florida, office use was wide open for veterinary practices. Whatever medication that they felt they needed on hand, they could write a prescription for a compounded drug and have it shipped to the practice without it being patient specific, and both dispense the medication as needed, but use it in practice for the cases that came in. With GFI 256, it was really revolving around medications that the FDA didn't have a lot of understanding of, and some of the medications that they listed were appropriate. So there's 3 different segments. A medication can be listed. So FDA notes that it's allowed for office use for veterinary practice, but it may be specific to a species. And then it also may be specific dosage form. So it may just be, okay, we understand that there's this chill protocol. Gabapentin for office use, or gabatraz for our angry dogs or angry coworkers, will be available for office use, but we won't do gabapentin suspension. It'll just be tablets, or it'll just be a scored like tiny tab. The education for vets was not very clear. We did a lot of nominations and worked with a lot of our top vets to nominate the medications that they felt were going to go away that they really needed. And we did a pretty good job, but other pharmacies kind of took a step back and just were like, okay, we're going to see how this pans out. So now we have some medications that are called not listed. So they're not available for office use currently. And then we have some that are in review. The FDA and specifically the CVMP for the FDA, it was pretty much dissolved with some of the cutbacks and jobs that were dropped this year. So now there's no veterinarian on staff, nobody really advocating in the back end from the FDA. And we're going back to submitting more medications again. L-asparginase or Mustrogen is a critical medication for oncology treatment in final stages. And really, with it not being available for office use, it was pretty devastating. So that was one that we recently got approved back to the under review. And as long as something's under review, that means it can still be prescribed or sent for the office for office use without a patient name. So under review, listed are good. Not listed means the FDA made a ruling on it, but they could be open to changing it if new nomination or more information becomes available.
Thank you for that overview.
Yeah.
And probably the most important piece of this regulation for our pharmacies, besides everything else that's entailed in that, is that these veterinarians who had these bulk drugs that they were using before don't have them anymore. So now the way that they are obtaining them is through pet-specific prescriptions through 503As. So this is a huge place in the market. It's a great time to have your sales rep go out to veterinarians, speak to this and say, you know, we have your solution. You know, we can offer these things, you know, for you as they've moved off of the list that you can use.
Yeah, and just let the vets know if this is something that you regularly write for, we can keep it in stock for you. That way we can get the pet their treatment right away without any delay, same day, whatever it is, because that's exactly right. It might be something that they used to keep in office, but with all these added layers of just administrative legal burden, they don't and or can't keep them in office anymore. And they need that pet to get treated with that drug that day. So that's where the volume discounts come into play. Because I know we think traditionally of 503B where, well, if I get, you know, prescriptions in as I'm building the business, then I'll order the product since they ship it quickly and I'll kind of dispense it that way, patient specific, pet specific. But here, if you're working with the veterinarians, they most likely typically write, you know, things pretty consistently. So you can start to build up your inventory at the pharmacy too, tap into those volume discounts, get the patients their treatment quicker, and just build on those partnerships with the local vets.
Yeah. And as we said before, even if they are things that, you know, they're ordering, they can order from 503Bs themselves at the moment. Like AJ said, they're moving away from using this as a revenue stream. So the benefit to them has decreased so much in the fact that, you know, they still have to have somebody who's managing that inventory,
Right.
who's placing the orders, who's up to date on everything, who's checking the beyond use state. It's a lot. So that as a 503A pharmacy, you can go in with that messaging that you're taking away that from them. They're not going to lose any money. You know, when things go bad, they don't have to worry about any of that storage. So you can really be there to help with their medications.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're both pros and know it through and through. I'd also say that if you haven't called or had your sales reps call on a veterinarian, it'll be very hard to have them go back to calling on physicians. The access, the kindness, they'll never feel more welcomed. I was in orthopedics prior for 4 years. There at the same time as the topical pain creams, so I knew compounding. I did trauma in total joints and was getting burnt out. And my girlfriend, now my wife, was like, "You need to find something else." And I went to my best friend that's a vet, and I was like, "Tell me the companies you use." And one was Diamondback because he does a lot of birds, and it was just like a night and day, like opening my eyes for how much fun it was to call on veterinarians. And as a pharmacist and as a business owner, they're going to warmly welcome you because a lot of them are independent business owners as well.
And
That's awesome.
who
Plus-
doesn't want to interact with puppies and kitties?
Right, that's what I was gonna say. You might see some really cute pets when you go in. That's like one of my favorite parts about taking my dog to the vet is I'm like, who else is gonna be here? And my dog is very chill. It's like 115-pound golden, but he's so nice to everybody. If dog tries to bite him, he's like, okay, cool. So he gets along with everybody. So he goes in there and he's a people pleaser. So he's not on the bad dog list.
No, he's a good dog.
He's a good boy.
Yeah,
That was a really good point. Go to veterinary offices, and especially just to be helpful to them, and like, hey, what can we do? What can we keep in stock for you guys? How can we make your lives easier and help all these cute little pets?
absolutely. And if you guys do uncover additional like API needs or dosage form needs, know that we are consistently with the two facilities. We're consistently adding new SKUs. We do have a pipeline that has a lot of equine medications, so bulk powders, as well as those larger chewable tablets. But we're going to continue to evolve, and whatever needs that you guys are uncovering, both either your reps or yourselves as you're going out there, just let us know, and we can keep you up to date on where the roadmap is for some of these APIs.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we try to encourage our pharmacies too, as you're going out and as you're talking to these offices. If there's anything that we can create on the resource side that would be helpful to you, let us know. Here I'm in Dotti, just kind of clicking around, so you can email us here. Yeah, and if you guys hear, like AJ said, of any APIs or any compound requests, definitely send them in to us, and we'll get them over to the Wedgewood team as well. I just pulled up, so Annie just loaded a few things in the resources of Dotti. So if you're in your Dotti dashboard, you can go to the GPO page here, you go to the GPO page here, and that's where you can register for Wedgewood. But if you click in the resources, a few different ways to get to it. So you'll always see the recently added files. You can start to search veterinary here and you'll see some things come up. We have a couple different folder placements as the third way. We have a Wedgewood folder, and that's the product catalog. And then we have, if you go down, we have a veterinary folder. So there's just some general veterinary files for marketing, like some shop local vet things. But there's a prescriber sell sheet that's in here. I believe we're going to get some more materials from you too, AJ, and that we can kind of co-brand with Wedgewood and then our pharmacies logos as well.
Yeah, we generally,
Absolutely.
everybody probably knows by now, but we generally, when we add a new program in, we'll have like a full suite of info. So, an RX order form, a prescriber sheet, a patient sheet, which is not going to be as important on the veterinary side. And then supporting documents as we go. We're always coming up with new useful resources to add. But yep, that new 503(b)(1) is available for all memberships on the prescriber sheet, which kind of goes through those benefits of utilizing your pharmacy instead of having to stock yourselves. And then this is nice that this isn't one we typically have either, which is a full catalog that the pharmacy can bring with them as they go, so that the vets can easily look to see what they offer. We'll also turn this into an order form. There's just so many options, but we will be able to condense it because there's a lot of the same medications, just in different dosage forms. So we'll be able to take that into an order form as well if your state allows it, or if you prefer that. But even this is a great document to allow prescribers to know, which medications that you carry.
Yep, and on the GPO page, Tiffany just added Wedgewood, so it's live. So you can go here and register. If you're a Dotti member, any Dotti membership includes access to the GPO. So if you're not a Dotti member yet, contact us, or we'll reach out to you if you're on this webinar, give you some more information, but you'll just fill this info out, and then it goes to us to verify your membership. And it goes to AJ and the team. So that's
Really
kind of
simple process. So
yeah, it's a simple process.
And it's easy just to get started because, with that 1 week right now, we're waiting on that 1 day turnaround, but might as well you throw your info there and get set up now, and then get your marketing going.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good point too, is not letting perfect get in the way of good enough, because we all have a lot going on, and there's a lot of competing priorities. And we all have veterinarians in our backyard, in our communities, no matter where your pharmacy is, whether you're in the city, whether you're rural. So just going out to your local veterinarians and kind of just, if they don't know you, introducing yourself, asking them, do they typically write for compounded products, or what types of prescriptions do they write? Do they have a local pharmacy partner? Just kind of asking questions like, how can we be of service to you?
And even if they have like a current partner, they're probably not a sterile partner.
Right. That's
So
true.
even if they already have a relationship that they have, we say, oh, well, do they offer eye drops?
Yeah.
Because now we have those.
Yeah.
So
and
even
you can
if
bring that branded catalog with you from Dotti, and just say, here's a sampling of the things that I can offer. And AJ said he would make anything that we want. So just let us know.
Anytime, it'll be ready immediately.
Just let us know what you need. Everything's fine. But it's a great conversation starter. It's just like, hey, what do you need? What medications can we support you with, that we can get to your pet patients right away. There was a question that came in. Can we access those forms and marketing lists through the Dotti platform? Yes. The ones that we have and that we've formatted. So like the prescriber cell sheets and all the verbiage and all the things, Annie creates those. And then we create a lot of our marketing materials and things from talking with a lot of pharmacies, from having our own pharmacy, and from having all the just the de-identified data that we have that shapes the pharmacy industry. So we take all the kind of external sources that we have in Dotti and put it together.
And we're always growing our resources. So, let's say they start, people really took off with the cyclosporin eye drops. And then they're like, well, patients really need directions on how to administer these eye drops in specific species. Those are types of things that we grow on, expand on, and continue to add. And obviously having Wedgewood, you guys are a wealth of knowledge. So obviously we'll lean on you guys as well, so that we can create these resources that you can brand for your pharmacy and bring them out.
Wealth of knowledge is a very kind way to say it. I used to say that we're mad scientists, and they wouldn't let us out of the basement, because our favorite things were, tell us your hardest patient, and uncovering what we could do and what the ideas that the veterinarian may have around it. It led to Rice Krispie treats embedded with enrofloxacin for rhinos. It led to some of the dosage forms that we now have at RB, the tiny tabs, especially in gabapentin. So it's super innovative. It's a way to be very creative, and really awesome conversation starter for the veterinarians, because they're also scientists that want to talk about some of the troubles that they're having. Like, this is a place where we know, as pharmacists and as pharmacy teams, we know the medications, we know what what they're good at doing, and we can really rely on the veterinarians asking the right questions to open up the conversation about where we think we could help.
Yeah, I love that too, because it gives our pharmacies just kind of like a really deep resource bench. So you don't have to feel alone or by yourself, or you personally don't have to be the expert when you go talk to these veterinarians, because you don't want to go ask, hey, what can I help you with? What can I do? And then they throw a curveball at you and you're like, can't do that. I don't know what you're talking about. But so you could say, well, let me go back to the team and let me go back to our partners and see what we can do or how we can address that. And then you can come back with some information, they can confer with us and you and be helpful. Someone asked too, do trial members have access to this? So with Dotti, we can offer a 14-day trial in the Dotti software, for people just to kind of test it out in the sandbox. You can watch the Learn webinars that we have in Dotti. So this one will be loaded in Dotti as well. Trial members, you can see the titles of all the resources and you can click around. You just can't download them. Most of the resources that we have, when you download them in Dotti automatically puts your pharmacy's branding on it in real time. So those are proprietary. You have to be in membership to download our resources. We have 3 different membership tiers: Basic, Plus, and Pro. The Basic membership has, I believe, just over 150 marketing resources. The Plus membership has just over 300 marketing resource. And then the Pro membership, that's where we can fully customize resources for you, as well as offer one-on-one consulting. And like Annie said, we're constantly adding more resources. I think we had at least a dozen in June.
Oh yeah,
that were added.
We've definitely been pumping them out recently with a lot of our, new wellness products that have come up as well. So, and we're definitely gonna have a lot more veterinary ones coming for you guys as well. So
Yep.
like you said, if there's something that comes up that you're thinking this would be really useful, always let us know.
Yes, absolutely. And I know, if you're on this webinar and you're not an Atrium24 GPO member, a Dotti member yet, Sam will be reaching out to you, because if there are any marketing materials, pull up the slide there. If there are any marketing materials, resources that you want to see, Sam, he'll have a live instance of Dotti up. He can walk through it with you on a live demo. He can show you some of the resources and answer questions that you might have about your specific pharmacy practice. But the whole goal of Dotti, it's a CRM and a sales system for your pharmacy. So really anything you're trying to implement, you can do so through Dotti, because you can pull in all your dispensing data. It pulls in all your prescribers, kind of tells you who your top targets are. It adds in all your prescribers and all your dispensing data and puts it in sales dashboards. And then once we launched that about a year ago, we realized, man, our pharmacies are, buying these products or trying to buy these products or trying to vet all these places, and especially these 503Bs.
Or don't even know that it's an option.
Yeah, because we're starting to see it in some data sets. So that's why we started Atrium24 GPO, because for pharmacies, the cost of goods, that's your biggest expense. So if we can aggregate our purchase power, if we can kind of work as a group on the vetting and on the purchasing side, and then we can put them through the Dotti sales system so that you can track your sales of the products and then grow it. Put your notes in there on your prescribers,
Tasks,
task yourself to go back to them in a week once you kind of get some answers and you have some new marketing materials. But all of that pull through helps you to sell more prescriptions.
It helps keep everybody in the loop too. So if you're the owner and you have a sales rep, what exactly are they doing? You don't want to be micromanaging them at every point, but you can log in there and see all the notes they put in for the day, who they meet up with. Oh, okay, you went to see this veterinarian. Did you talk to them about 503B? Or, here's the list of veterinarians that we've gone to before. Let's go out again. It's also a great touch point, I like to say, when you have something new to go back to an office. Obviously, the vets are a little bit nicer, as AJ said. So they'd probably be happy to see you anyways.
Yeah.
But it's always good when you're, because you kind of feel like, oh, I'm bothering them. But when you go in with a new, completely new line of something, it's just a benefit to them. So they're always happy to hear about something new.
Yep, absolutely. I love it. And then this may feel far away, but it's not, because we're deep in planning mode already. We're already locked in for our next Atrium X conference. We had our very first one this past February, and it was amazing. So you guys at Atrium X, it's totally different because I don't have an agenda. I don't know what we're going to talk about. All the folks who come, we have a really cool opening session. It's really collaborative. Everybody meets each other. Everybody learns what everybody else is about. And then everybody votes on what do we want our breakout sessions to be and what do we want to talk about the next couple days. And we have professional facilitators and we have a lot of subject matter experts and like plants in the room that I bring in. I'm like, hey, you're good at this. You have to be here. You have to, and we get a really collaborative, open, forward-thinking group of people in the same room for a couple days, and everybody works together in person to solve for the problems and the futures of what we want our pharmacies to be and how we want to serve our patients and our employees. So March 5th through 7th is the next Atrium X. It'll be in Orlando. So it's on the website. Check it out. Tickets are live, exhibitors are live, so I'm excited about that.
It is a whole new concept. Even before I work on the clinical side mostly, so
Yeah.
I wasn't too much in the
Yeah, we didn't tell you about
planning.
it.
And I'm like, what is this concept? What's going on? I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna do everything I need to do. But honestly, I was so impressed by how it turned out.
Yeah.
And it really was so much about the people who were there, but even times when it's like, okay, you don't have to do this and you can go over them, like, no, I want to be in this session.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I jump in and say, I'm like, I know I'm talking too much, I shouldn't talk, but it's just so exciting to see how these pharmacy owners are working together. And instead of somebody just coming and talking at you, there is a mix of panels and things that we hear.
Yeah.
But it's like one of the topics that we crowdsourced was 503B. So there was a whole session on it. And, some people who had been doing it, like we have some pharmacies that was just talking to someone carries like over 30 different 503B products that they stock now. So it's really incredible how some pharmacies have taken off with this, but
yeah, it's only getting bigger. We're really excited to launch this partnership. I know we had to go through all the legal spiegel stuff and all the vetting things, and Wedgewood's just an incredible company with incredible people, and we're really excited to be aligned with you guys.
Well, we are extremely excited, and we know that it's been a long time coming. So thank you for your patience. And there's no better thing above you and Ann, because that is you without a doubt. Limitless Hospital, you guys are incredible, and just the amount of things that you are doing for the GPO members and other pharmacies. It's really awesome to observe.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
well, thank you guys. Yeah, if anybody has any questions as you're getting started, getting everything rolled out, definitely let us know. We're all open and eager to serve all of our pharmacies with these great products and just to really open up this veterinary market. Veterinary always is
always one of the top
things that we see in our pharmacies. Especially when we see their data sets or when we ask them or when we're branding things, they're like, well, vet's really big for me. Just about every pharmacy we talk to. So this is going to be great for them.
And just keeps growing. Everybody is now taking care of their dogs a little bit better, and their Grandpa Rowan is a thing of the past. but hopefully there'll be more blues.
Yeah, it's very true. Well, thank you guys so much for your time and for the partnership, and we can't wait to kick everything off.
Awesome. Take care. We'll talk soon.
Thank you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.